Find My Tool sent me this. It's a helical head flush trim router bit. For comparison, this is a 3/4 inch dado bit from Whiteside. I use this for the large cabinets, the entryway, the boot rack, anything big, 3/4 inch plywood. Then there's this. I don't know if you can tell or not, but I'm excited. I was looking for a compression flush trim router bit, then Find My Tool just happened to message me, and I'm like, yes, let's try that. I did not know it was this big, but let's give it a try. This will be overkill for today's project, which is actually going to be making a zero clearance insert for my table saw. I bought some. They're terrible. They kept breaking. Every time I put them in, they broke. I have 2 new ones that have never been used that broke when I inserted it. So I'm going to make some. The other issue is it bends a lot. So when you're cutting, you can see it flexing. I figure let's make some out of real wood, not particle board.
Oh, yeah, I'm on my way, I'm coming. Don't lose faith in me. I know you've been waiting. I know you've been praying for my soul. Oh, 30 years you've been dragging your feet, telling me I'm the reason we're stagnant. 30 years you've been claiming you're honest and promising progress. Well, where's it at? I don't want you to feel like a failure. I know this hurts, but I gave you your chance to deliver. Now it's my turn. Don't get me wrong. Nature had a great run, but it's time to give the people something different. So without further ado, I like to introduce my album. Hope. What's my definition of success? Listening to what your heart says. Standing up for what you know is right while everybody else is. Tucking their toe between their legs. What's my definition of success?
It's actually time to start using this. Let's talk about it a little bit though. It's a helical head flush trim router bit, top and bottom bearing, meaning you can flush cut flat from the top or the bottom. Helical head meaning these little squares. This bit is expensive. It's $180 something Canadian, 150 on sale right now. It is a 1/2 inch shank, meaning you'll need a decent router with a 1/2 inch collet. But the reason why it might be worth it in most use cases is the helical heads. You can simply unscrew it, rotate 90 degrees, screw it back in, and you have a fresh cutting surface. If I was to damage this, it goes in the garbage. There's no use for it anymore. It is not a cheap bit. This, however, I get 4 uses out of every blade, and the blades are cheaper than the bit. So long term, this will save you money. Now, I haven't used it yet, so I don't know if it's worth it. I'll give you my final thoughts at the end. I'm a little nervous, and this is definitely, just by looking at it, not for beginners. Routers are scary and dangerous. The more you use it, the more comfortable you get, the more you understand it, you understand the dangers. Don't do this if it's your first time.
Being brave enough to dream big, grinding when you're told to just quit, giving more when you got nothing left. It's a person that'll take a chance on something they were told could never happen. It's a person that can see the bright side through the dark times when there ain't one. It's when someone who ain't never had nothing ain't afraid to walk away from more profit because they'd rather do something that they really love and take the pay cut. It's a person that would never waver or change who they are just to try and gain some credibility so they can feel accepted by a stranger. It's a person that can take the failures in their life and turn them into motivation. It's believing in yourself when no one else does. It's amazing what a little bit of faith can't do. If you don't even believe in you, why would you think or expect anybody else that's around you to? I done did things that I regret. I done said things I can't take back. Was a lost soul at a crossroad who had no hope, but I changed that. I spent years of my life holding on to things I never should have kept, full of hatred. Years of my life carrying a lot of baggage that I should have walked away from. Years of my life wishing I was someone different, looking for some validation. Years of my life trying to fill a void, pretending I was in them. They get it. Growing pains are necessary, evil, difficult to go through, use but beneficial. Some would say having a mental breakdown is a negative thing, which on one hand I agree, but on the other hand it was the push I needed to get help and start the healing process. See, if I'd never hit my bottom, would I be the person that I am today? I don't believe so. I'm a prime example of what happens when you choose to not accept defeat and face your demons. Took me 30 years to realize that if you want to get the opportunity to be the greatest version of yourself, sometimes you gotta be someone you're not to hear the voice of reason. Having kids will make you really take a step back and look in the mirror. At least for me, that's what it did. I wake up every day and pick my son up, hold him in my arms and let him know he's loved. Standing by the window questioning if that is ever going to show up. Isn't something he's gonna have to worry about. Don't get it twisted, that was in the shop. Mama, I forgive you, I just don't want him to grow up thinking that he'll never be enough. 30 years of running, 30 years of searching, 30 years of hurting, 30 years of pain, 30 years of fearful, 30 years of anger, 30 years of empty, 30 years of shame, 30 years of broken, 30 years of anguish, 30 years of hopeless, 30 years of hate, 30 years of never, 30 years of maybe, 30 years of later, 30 years of faith, 30 years of hollow, 30 years of sorrow, 30 years of darkness, 30 years of hate, 30 years of baggage, 30 years of sadness, 30 years of stagnant, 30 years of change, 30 years of patience, 30 years of suffering, 30 years of torment, 30 years of 30 years of bitter, 30 years of lonely, 30 years of pushing everyone away. You'll never evolve. I know I can change. We are not enough. We are not the same. You don't have the heart. You don't have the strength. You don't have the will. You don't have the faith. You'll never be loved. You'll never be safe. Might as well give up. Not running away. You don't have the guts. You're the one afraid. I'm the one in charge. I'm taking the reins.
Now that we're done this, let's talk about this. Before we talk about it, you need to know I'm not sponsored by Find By Tool. I am not paid to review this. They sent me this in hopes that I review it, and I can say anything I want about it. So this is my honest opinion. It's great. I have no issues. It was super smooth. It seems a lot scarier than it actually is. If you have any experience, even little, I recommend this. Should you use it the first time using a router? No. Should you use it with a router table? Only. I don't know. I never looked. I never did my research. If you can use this handheld, I wouldn't. It's just too big and heavy. It could get away from you. This is worth the money. It'll save money in the long run. It's a quality tool, zero issues, cut through maple. Maple is super hard. And everything turned out so smooth. Like all the edges are gorgeous, just buttery soft. I will leave a link in the description for this, as well as any other tools I used, including the zero clearances that I'm replacing. Do not buy them if you plan on using them. They worked great as a template to build one though. And they're cheap enough that you could do so. Now, here's my final thoughts on this. I'm super happy with it. I've never made something like this before. It turned out great. Yes, I did things you probably shouldn't do. I don't have a planer to get the right thickness. I used my non-plunge bit to make a plunge cut, and I took a shortcut making the riving knife slot. All those things, I knew the risks and I was comfortable with. Do I recommend everybody do what I did? Absolutely not. People sometimes do things where you're supposed to do them, but don't know the risks, and that's when you're likely to get injured or when you get too comfortable. I was happy with the risks that I took to do this. Keep in mind, I had no experience ever making these, and I didn't really watch any videos. I just winged it. I just went with the flow and tried it. Super happy with it. Super happy with it. See you next time.